Sigmund Freud and his contributions. Who is Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud was an Australian neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis, a clinical method for treating psychopathology through dialogue between a patient and psychoanalyst. Freud was born to Galician Jewish parents in the Moravian town of Freiburg in the Australian Empire. So Sigmund Freud was the founding father of psychoanalysis, a method for treating mental illness and also a theory which explained human behavior. Freud believed that events in our childhood have a great influence on our adult lives, shaping our personality. What is psychoanalysis theory? Psychoanalytic theory is the theory of personality, organization, and the dynamics of personality development that guides psychoanalysis, a clinical method for treating psychopathology. First laid out by Sigmund Freud in the late 19th century, psychoanalytic theory has undergone many refinements since his work. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory of personality argued that human behavior is the result of the interaction among the three components part of mind, the id, ego, and the superego. According to Freud theory, certain aspects of your personality are more primal and might pressure to you act upon your most basic urge. Other part of your personality work to counteract this urge and strives to make you conform to the demands of reality. Next is history of psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud was the founder of psychoanalysis and the psychodynamic approach to the psychology. Freud believed that the human mind was composed of three elements, the id, ego, and the superego. Elements composed by human mind. Id is the instinct, the ego is the reality, superego is the morality. The id. According to Freud, the id is the source of all psychic energy, making it the primary component of personality. The id is very important early in life because it ensures that an infant's needs are met. If the infant is hungry or uncomfortable, he or she will cry until the demands of the ids are satisfied. Young infants are ruled entirely by the id. There is no reasoning with them when these needs demand satisfaction. Next is the ego. According to Freud, ego develops from the ids and ensures that the impulses of the ids can be expressed in a manner acceptable in the real world. The ego operates based on the reality principle which strives to satisfy the ids desires in realistic and social appropriate ways. The reality principle weighs the costs and benefits of an action before deciding to act upon or abandon impulses. The superego. The last component of personality to develop is the superego. According to Freud, the superego begins to emerge at around age 5. The superego holds the internalized moral standard and ideals that we acquired from our parents and society. The superego provides guidelines for making judgments. The superego has two parts. The conscience includes information about things that are viewed as bad by parents and society. These behaviors are often forbidden and lead to bad consequence, punishment, or feelings of guilt and remorse. The ego ideals includes the rules and standards for behavior that the ego aspires to. Support and criticism. Many people are skeptical of psychoanalysis because the evidence supporting its effectiveness has often been viewed as weak. One of the main arguments by those who are critical of psychoanalysis is that it's not as effective as another treatment. However, some of the research of effectiveness of psychoanalysis has yielded support. one systematic view of previous study conclude that psychoanalytic therapy was an effective treatment that resulted in the reduction of symptoms and long-term changes that persisted for years after treatment ended. So the importance of Freud theory. Freud theory provides one conceptualization of how personality is structured and how the elements of personality function. In Freud's view, a balance in a dynamic interaction of the id, ego, and the superego is necessary for a healthy personality. While the ego has a tough job to do, it does not have to act alone. Anxiety also plays a role in helping the ego mediate between the demands of the basic urge, moral value, and the real world. When experience different type of anxiety, defense mechanism may kick in to help defend the ego and reduce the anxiety you are feeling. So that is the contribution of Sigmund Freud.